Hi, I'm Larry Hentz, Director of Commercial Development for the Prince George's County Economic Development Corporation. I'm also the host of Business Spotlight. Today, we're going to meet with Mr. Michael Richman, President and CEO of Nextcure. Come on, let's go learn something. Michael, thank you very much for having us here today. To open things up, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about Nextcure?
I've been in the industry for almost 40 years. I've always been fascinated with science and technology and working with people at the cutting edge of innovation. We now stand in front of the Nextcure sign where we continue to work with cutting edge technology, really trying to develop these next generation immunomedicines that we hope will help patients and improve the available care for them.
I'm curious about something, Michael. When you were in California, just starting out working for these companies, were you in the moment, or did you really know, even back then, that what you were doing could potentially change the world? I mean, did you have that awareness about you?
Yeah, that's a great question. Biotechnology has had an impact on so many different industries. As a young person, did I feel that we were going to have, the hundreds and hundreds of companies we see today? Probably not. I think anyone that enters the field of science, we're somewhat dreamers, imagineers. The science that brings you in because you're naturally curious then starts evolving into businesses. And you become more curious with respect to doing more science and doing better for society and doing greater and more important things and wanting to do good for people.
And I would assume also in some cases, as you go about solving problems and providing answers, it creates other questions and leads to more problems that need to be solved.
So true, so true. That's the beauty of science.
Yes.
You ask a question, you do an experiment, you get a result, and you get 10 more questions. And our jobs as people that build companies are trying to take the tools and capabilities and the technologies that are available or that we're developing and apply them in a very focused way. We can't go off on too many tangents. We have to have certain priorities in developing products. There are more questions than answers, but that's what gets us up in the morning. That passion for wanting to help others, that desire to wanting answers for those questions. And what we try to do in building these organizations is bring comfort to the discomfort. It's an uncomfortable feeling when you have so many questions and not enough answers. So our job is to provide an environment that's stimulating and where people could work together as teams to come up with solutions so that we have answers to at least some of those questions.
Excellent. Bring comfort to the discomfort. Okay, so tell me a little bit about Nextcure.
We started Nextcure 6 years ago. The reason we started the company was, I think, that discomfort. We had seen some major breakthroughs in science, in cancer, in immunology, in developing some really interesting drugs to help patients. But what really kind of led us to be a little concerned was 60 to 70% of people were not responding to a lot of these new immunotherapy drugs. We call those the non-responders. Yes. Even those that responded, many progressed with their disease. Okay. So the disease came back. And then there were many tumor types that we hadn't even addressed in various cancers. So when our founder, Li-Ping Chen at Yale University called and said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I think I'm entering retirement. I'm really not sure." And he said, "No, you have to come up to Yale. We need to talk science. We need to think about what we can do next." And in fact, it was Li-Ping who came up with the name Nextcure. He wanted to have a strong, powerful name that when people came into work or people came into learning about the company, that they understood that we weren't just driving science to treat people. We wanted to really do our best in trying to cure cancer.
Michael, I'm very excited about all the things that you've been sharing so far. Could we take a little time and walk around and you show me some of this wonderful space?
Would love to show you around. It would be delightful to show you around. Should we do it now?
Great, let's
do it. So welcome to Nextcure.
Thank you. All right, so again, all this beautiful color everywhere. Help me understand that.
Well, when we started building the company, we wanted to really design a facility that was inviting and where people felt stimulated with respect to the scientific thought process, solving problems,
yes,
and really kind of fulfilling their curiosity. So as you'll see as we go on the tour, every wall is painted a different color. What you'll see here, and we're very, very proud of, is our manufacturing facility. You'll see these large tanks.
Yes, I see.
So that's a 1,000-liter tank. There's another one behind it. These stainless steel vessels actually grow the cells to produce the product and clinical material that we actually test in patients. So we'll walk through the development labs. When we started the company 6 years ago, this was actually R&D.
Okay.
Now it's become pretty much development and manufacturing.
Yes.
The first thing you'll notice is the tile. This tile is a DNA helix. There's 535 pieces. We wanted to do something different. As people entered the facility, we wanted them to feel the spirit of being part of change. And DNA makes up all of our genes,
yes,
and kind of creates who we are today.
Yes.
On the right-hand side, you'll see one of our development labs,
okay,
where we do a lot of our initial studying of production systems and purifying proteins. This particular lab is going to be focused on taking clinical samples from patients. So these are patients that are involved in our clinical trials.
yes,
We take tissue samples in the form of biopsies. We take blood samples.
right,
We're going to bring those samples internally.
yes,
And scientists like Anish and his team members will be developing these assays or tests. So we call these biomarkers.
okay,
And biomarkers are a pretty important component to pretty much most clinical trials that are being done today. So this is our quality control lab.
Okay.
So everything we do in Nextcure, first and foremost, whether it's science, research, manufacturing, business, everything has to deal with quality.
yes,
I call it the big Q. And this particular lab runs a lot of different assays. And again, these tests to make sure that the material that we're manufacturing meets the highest of standards,
yes,
from a regulatory perspective, such as the FDA,
yes,
which is not too far from us. So we build a lot of tools and analytical components to ensure the quality of the materials that we've produced. So this is one of our development labs where we look at what we call the downstream. So the upstream is producing growing the cells and producing the drug.
okay,
Then it has to be purified. You know, it's kind of like, you know, you're baking the cake, but sooner or later you got to take the cake out of that pan.
right,
So in this case, you're trying now to purify the protein from all the cells that have grown. You can see we have these various workstations. I forgot to show you something we're really proud of. It's a surprise. We don't normally show it, but we got to do it.
okay. Oh, you're kidding me.
So what we created here was the concept of the indoor park. We couldn't take people outside, so what we thought, we would create something indoors. So being a startup company, first and foremost, we had to stay with the corporate culture, color.
Yes.
Second thing, being a startup company, we had to spend wisely, so we went with outdoor furniture.
feels like a play space.
It is, but that's exactly what you want. You want people to come to work and feel like their work is important and playful at the same time. And so we've kind of gone pretty much full circle.
Yes. Michael, thank you very much for the tour. I truly enjoyed it. I want to know, how was the county helpful to you and what's next?
The county has been really part of the Nextcure team and the Nextcure growth process from the beginning. When we first moved in here, they came to welcome us. A whole team of people came in, and really with a desire to help us from an economic development perspective, a hiring perspective, an outreach perspective to other members in the community. We met with a vast group of professionals that now we could go to, because now we know them on a first name basis. Larry. and they know Nextcure, and they've been very helpful.
One last question for you. Based on your best guess, how soon do you think we could potentially see a major breakthrough in cancer as far as a cure for cancer?
I think we will definitely find cures. It's in our name. If we're not going to find them, we're going to change the name. But we're definitely going to find cures. Whether it happens in my lifetime or not, it's hard to say. But certainly we've got a lot of great people on the planet working on some very difficult problems and with a strong commitment to helping others.
Michael, I just want to take a moment and say thank you very much for your time and, most importantly, the information and honestly the hope that you've given me in regards to what's out in front for us. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Larry. It was really nice to meet you. And again, thank you so much for your support and taking the time to visit with us at Nextcure and really tell our important story. So thank you very much.
Take care.
Take care.
Well, I hope you enjoyed yourself as much as I did. It was a real pleasure to meet scientists who care so much about mankind that they're willing to search out the difficult answers. I want you to stay with us, follow us on social media, and remember, keep the business spotlight on.